months and at least 14 murders across Los Angeles and one in San Francisco, the Night Stalker was behind bars. He had stalked random people, entered their homes in the dark of night, and killed them. He had haunted the nightmares of thousands of city residents. Now, the demon would stand trial for his heinous crimes. The bizarre proceedings would mesmerize the public almost as much as the killing spree. After blowing off several public defenders, Ramirez finally settled on 2 attorneys who had never tried a death penalty case.
Mr. Ramirez, at this time, is it your desire to substitute Mr. Daniel Hernandez and Mr. Arturo Hernandez as your attorneys of record in the place instead of Mr. Joseph Gallegos?
Yes.
From the beginning to the end of the case, Ramirez showed no remorse.
At the end of the arraignment, when he was told exactly what the charges were, he turned towards the cameras, raised his right hand, had a pentagram drawn on the palm, and said, "Hail Satan."
Richard was nothing but nasty and aggressive. He told everyone to go F themselves. When people saw him like that, they were more frightened.
Another time, in his jail cell, cut himself in some manner, but he took his own blood, and he had drawn a pentagram in 666 in blood. Every time he did something like that, we documented it, and we used it during the trial to connect him to the murders.
After a while, it became very apparent that he is the type of person that could do this. The comments that he would make, the laughing, when certain evidence would be shown or pictures of bodies, he'd laugh and giggle. When he realized that it was causing immense pain for victims, he would turn around and sneer at them.
He even had his own brand of groupies. Women from all walks of life started showing up in court, dressed in black, waiting for the time when he would turn around and smile at them.
The psychology of serial killer groupies is a very unusual thing, and we've had that for well over a century. Ramirez was certainly not alone in the groupies he attracted.
While Ramirez may have played to his fans in the courtroom, he was openly contemptuous of everyone else. After 55 days of testimony, 165 witnesses, and 650 pieces of evidence, the prosecution rested its case.
Accused Night Stalker Richard Ramirez didn't even want a defense presented.
But the defense did present a case. The attorney's inexperience, though, soon became evident.
He was somewhat of a inexperienced, not really well-versed on any kind of, in the profession of crime.
Prosecutors said the material presented by the defense was both confusing and wrong.
The only thing I hope is that the jury has taken better notes than Mr. Hernandez has.
In yet another twist in the demented saga of the Night Stalker, the defense decided not to present a single witness. It took the jury 22 days to decide his fate. On September 20th, 1989, the jury found Richard Ramirez guilty of 13 murders and over 30 related felonies. The Night Stalker then addressed the court.
You don't understand. It means you are not expected to. You are not capable of it. I am beyond your experience. I am beyond good and evil. Legions of the night breed. Repeat not the errors of Night Stalker and show no mercy. I will be avenged. Lucifer dwells within us all.
Ramirez faced 2 possible sentences: the death penalty or life in prison without parole.
It is the judgment and sentence of this court that Richard Ramirez shall suffer the death penalty. This penalty is to be inflicted within the walls of the St. Prison Standpoint in California, in the manner prescribed by law, and at the time to be fixed by this court in the warrant for execution.
Even though sentenced to death, Richard Ramirez remained defiant.
It's a big deal. Death always went with the territories.
But even on death row in San Quentin, Ramirez's ability to generate shock and publicity has continued.
I just want to say I'm ecstatically happy today and very, very proud to have married Richard and to be his wife.
On October 3rd, 1996, after an 8-year courtship behind bulletproof glass, Doreen Leoy and Richard Ramirez were married in San Quentin State Prison.
I hope that you will be very respectful of the day and let me go and enjoy my day in peace.
41-year-old Doreen Leoy, a freelance editor, declined to answer questions following the ceremony that was attended by Ramirez's brother, who served as best man, his sister, and a niece.
It's a mockery of the criminal justice system because he's not put in there for rehabilitation, he's put in there for punishment.
Why would anyone marry a condemned serial killer?
They see the damaged soul that somebody needs to get in there and nurture and be compassionate to. And so for them, it does have an appeal.
What does a deranged killer gain from death row nuptials?
For him, the appeal is he's got somebody outside prison who can get things for him, send things to him, make him feel like somebody's still thinking about him. He's not just sort of rotting in some prison cell.
But after his sentencing, Ramirez had one question for the detectives who caught him.
When we were talking with him, Gil and I, after he was convicted and sentenced, he asked us one night, "Are you going to be there when they execute me?" And I said, it really didn't make a difference to me. If you wanted me there, I would be there. And I told him I would. My intention is to be there to see Richard Ramirez executed.
A death penalty conviction triggers an automatic appeal in California. Ramirez contends that he did not get a fair trial. He claims his lawyers did not meet Los Angeles County bar standards, and that the court failed to give him a full psychiatric evaluation. In August 2006, the California Supreme Court rejected Ramirez's first direct appeal against his conviction. He has other appeals pending and will remain on death row until that process concludes.